So we actually already answered one like this, right? Which ones are prisms? Brody, what do you think? Which ones are prisms?
A, B, C, E.
A, B, C, E is correct. And then why don't you take a second and shade in again the base? Maybe you already did that. Would it matter which one you shaded for A? No, you could shade any of the 6. All right, same question we already answered. Already had one of those in your homework. Number 2 on the next page, it says shade one base. We already did that. Draw a cross section. That means if I would take a slice out of this, so if this is my base, if I would take a slice out of that, what shape would I get? You should get the same, right? So this one would be a square. This one would be this shape. Guess that's technically a pentagon, just not a regular pentagon. C would be a triangle. And E would be some sort of a arrow-looking figure. All right, question number 2. Life is like a box of chocolates. What movie is that from?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, nice.
Well, I watched
Classic.
Forrest Gump when I was like 6.
All right, Josh, go ahead and read this one.
A box of chocolates is a prism with a base in the shape of a heart and the height of 2 inches. Here are the measurements of the base. To calculate the volume of the box, 3 different students have drawn line segments showing how they plan on finding the area of the heart-shaped base.
All right, so remember, area or volume would be area of the base times the height. So we got to figure out the area of this heart box. And then it comes out 2 inches high. That would be volume then, area of the base times the height. And 3 different students had ideas. They're on the next page. Kellen, can you stop chatting, please? Lynn, Jada, and Diego, I want you to just take a peek at that and see which one you prefer.
Jonas prefers Diego. He just told me.
Well, that would be like what you probably did for today's warm-up, right?
I like Jada's. Lynn is just
Okay. Lynn, I don't know if I would say Lynn is whack.
Yeah, she's definitely whack.
But area of a trapezoid, we don't even know how to do that at this point, unless you have the formula memorized.
Hey Siri.
Cut off the one and then put it like on the other.
You mean like make triangles?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a special formula where you add up the bases, divide it by 2, and then take it times the height.
That sounds
Can you tell us? Can you just tell us?
I just did.
Can you tell us again?
Okay, but anyway, you don't have that one, so this would be the most complicated, in my opinion. Is it possible? Yeah. Would be the same answers as the other ones. There is no wrong way to do it. If you're like Jada, she made it into a big triangle here. 2 small triangles and a rectangle. That's fine. You would add up the area of every piece.
What I do is I take and shade out one triangle and then add that onto the other triangle and add up the sides.
That's fine.
So I agree with James.
But whatever way you do it, then you better get it right. My preference, I like Diego's way. That's just my way. So whatever way you like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to try that method and see if you get the area over here. No, don't do Lynn's way. Georgie, come on. But go ahead, and we'll see if we agree at the end here. I'm going to start Diego's way here in a minute. Remember, area of a triangle, if you're using triangles, is 1/2 the base times the height.
Since this goes a bit longer, do you think that'd be 3?
No, the only thing that matters is the height. Height is 1.
It is? Oh, it looks like it's going longer.
Nope, it's the same.
Thanks, Georgia. Oh my. I never would have figured that out.
However would I know?
Whoa, whoa. Who said that?
All right,
Rosie,
Kinley, what'd you get?
I got 40 inches square.
40 inches. Yeah, we do know it's inches, don't we? What'd you get?
I got 40 inches.
40. Jared?
40.
40, so we're pretty sure it's 40. How many people did Jada's way? Did you get 40?
I didn't.
I did Jada's way. I got 40.
How many people did Diego's way? Everybody get 40.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that didn't and are wondering why? Every single person got 40.
I want to do Lynn's way, but I don't know how.
No, you didn't.
No, she didn't do Lynn. She just
All right.
cheated.
Okay, I'm going to give you 15 seconds to write down the volume. Go.
Hey, we don't know that.
Hey, you did. Read it.
Write down the volume. Raise your hand when you got it written down. Brenna. 80 inches cubed. Area of the base times the height. Height, it said, was 2. Josh read that for us. See how much they listened to you when they were like, what's the height? 80 inches cubed. Again, area of the base times, you just did that on the warm-up. Volume doesn't change no matter what the shape, even if you have a heart box. Doesn't change. Area of the base times the height. How you get there doesn't matter. But you have to get the area of the base right. If the area base is wrong, you can't get the next one correct. All right, are you ready? The box has 30 pieces of chocolate. All have a 1-inch cubic volume. That means they're 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch pieces of chocolate. If all the chocolate melts, what will be the height of the layer? Okay, not a trick question. If you melt 30 pieces that all have 1 cubic inch, how much total volume do I have? 30. 1 times 30, right? I have 30 pieces that are 1. So that's 30. What was the volume of my box?
80.
Or sorry, the volume doesn't matter. I put it on the base, right? I'm filling up the base. What's the base? 40.
Wait, so
Figure what out? Top, 30 times 1.
Oh, it's
Space on the bottom is 40. Simplify,
3/4.
3/4 of an inch.
That makes sense.
So if you melt that chocolate and put it in that heart box, it'll cover 3/4 of an inch
But aren't
up
there
the box.
Just like
Aren't there usually like the little bit?
No,
Usually.
chocolates are melted.
Usually.
Well, yeah, but
And isn't melted
they
chocolate?
usually come in like little.
All right, next question.
They do.
Problem number 1. Again, at your own shape here. Draw the base and label its dimensions. That means label each side. So whatever piece of that is the base, draw it out.
Like
Just draw, sketch it, the base. And then for number 2, see if you can figure out the area of that piece. And again, where most people struggle with that, they always want to make the bottom the base. That is not the case. The base needs to look the same throughout to be classified as a prism. So the piece facing you is the base. That's where it's got to sit. You'd have to take that shape and flip it down. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Label the sides. All right, so that's the shape you should have. I'll give you a minute here if you're still working on the base before we talk about it. Georgia, do you have a question?
No, I have the answer.
Oh, you do. Confident. Georgia has the answer. Okay. All right, Georgia, go ahead then. How do I figure out the area of this chunk here?
Okay, so since the one side is 5, and then the base is 6, I just found out that little triangle on top. So I did 5 times 6 equals 30, and then divided by 2 equals 15. So then I did 7 times 6 equals 42. Hold on, and then I got 57. What?
I got a different answer.
Okay.
I got
Is the answer 57?
No.
It's 54.
All right, so did you try to subtract the 2 triangles? Or were you trying to figure, which way did you do it? Jada's way or Diego's way? Were you trying to do this or this?
Neither. I made it my own way.
Yikes. Don't do George's method then. All right, now if it was me,
Yeah, just.
I would just do it this way.
That's what I did. That's what I did.
And you said the height was 7, right?
Yeah.
How did you get that?
Okay. So
Right here. Right here.
So then 5.
Okay, so hold on, Georgia. Hold on.
Hold on.
42, right? All right. Now, for triangles. This is not the height. If that's the height, I'm going to measure my height like going this way, right? Height has to be perpendicular, up and down.
That's my fault.
You measure your height, it's from your feet, right? Otherwise, I'll be like 7 feet tall if I go out far enough. Never diagonal. Height is always perpendicular. So the height, Georgia, pay attention.
I am.
Okay, so this is 7. The whole thing is 11. What's the height of my triangle?
4.
There is 1. Georgia.
They're not two.
Okay, Georgia. 7 plus what?
4.
Yes, 4.
Okay, so
Good
then,
job.
And then the base is 6.
so 4 times 6 equals 24, which is 12. So then 42 plus 12 equals 64. Wait.
You did it all right except you added 4 plus 1 incorrectly.
Good job, George. You got 54.
Hey,
All right, 54. Now, the importance of getting that base right, just like on today's warm-up, if you get that wrong, you have no chance to get the volume. Because it's area of the base times the height. So be extra cautious on the base. You need that number. Now be careful here. What do you think the base is? Raise your hand on this one. What do you think, or the height of this shape is? We know the base is 54. What is the height? Raise your hand, please. Kinley?
11.
No. Jared? 8. Remember, this piece is the base, right? So you're setting it on this side. This is how high it will be.
Okay.
It will be 8.
So then you do 54 times 8.
Then you do 54 times 8. Yes.
I don't think y'all want to hear my answer. That
Josh?
Wait, what? I'm not done.
432.
432.
432. You would have given me 20
I don't think
seconds.
that's right. I think
Yeah, I got 4.
It's right.
I got 4.
It's right.
It's 4.
Units cubed. There you go.
Units cubed. All right, summary on the next page. Again, when you're figuring out the area of the base, here's an example. Okay, the base can be any sort of object. Here's an example. And again, how do you figure out the area of the base? There's different ways. You can split it. There's different ways to split it. Or you can figure out just the missing piece. I don't care which way you use. But whatever you use, you got to get to the correct answer. You have to get that area of the base correct. All right, take a look at the homework. Okay, you need to find the volume based on this information. Nothing's labeled. You have to label the sides there and then figure out the volume. Remember, area of the base times the height. Question number 2. Kellen, would you read number 2, please?
A rectangular prism with dimensions 5 inches by 13 inches by 10 inches was cut to leave a piece as shown in the image. What is the volume of this piece? What is the volume of the other piece not?
All right, so this is a kind of a two-part question. You have a rectangular prism that has these dimensions. Figure out the volume of that. And then it says you have this chunk here cut off of there. What's the volume of this piece? And then what's the remaining piece? So whatever you get from here and here, you would subtract it to get the final answer. So lots of volumes included in one problem there. Did you say what? Okay, so here you have a whole thing. Here you have a chunk cut off of it. What's left? Okay. Question 3. You're sketching a triangle here. I think you can follow those directions. I think you can handle it. Make sure you explain. Question 4, circle the word all. All that apply. All that apply. Question 5, not a lot of room to work there. Poor spacing again on their part. But what do you notice about the labels there? They're all different. They're all different. Quarts, cups, tablespoons, gallons. What should we make them into? All right. Make them all into cups and solve the problem.